this is Joanna at Year Long Life, and today I just wanted to show you a flip through of my Hobonichi planner, because a few of you wanted just to have a look inside, and I'm kind of excited to show you what I do in mine anyway. So here we go. We'll dive straight in. And so I just got this is from 2016, this cover, so it's just the yellow one, and it's kind of like pale inside, but I just slipped a postcard in the top, and that's how I kind of decorate this cover. So yeah, I just slipped a postcard in here, just to give it some extra loveliness, which is very cool. And then on the inside, let's see, I just have a lot of rubbish, to be honest. This is a Plan With Me challenge that I just wrote out all of the prompts on the post-it note. And I have an old Oyster card, a couple of business cards, some tickets. Oh, this is just coupons actually, and they're actually out of date, so I'm just going to put them over there. Some coupons. I have some tickets for some shows that I went to see, and I'm just kind of keeping memorabilia in these pockets for the moment. And I don't know. Oh, I haven't thrown this one out, and I quite like it, so I'll keep it there. And then on the other side, I've got the page holder, and someone actually suggested in my last video that it was for holding down the pages in the wind, which is actually a very good point. I did actually take this outside one time to plan, and it was very, very windy, so this would have been very useful. And then yeah, I have some more tickets later coming up, and so this is how my journal looks. It's kind of very well used. I love the way that the pages kind of just become dirty and kind of crumpled with use. It just shows that it's been used very well. Let's see if I can get I'll get the original, like a new one out, so you can see the difference. Where did I put it? It should be just here in my box. So just open up the box so you guys can see what I'm doing. And the new one. Oh, it feels so good. Okay, so oh, we have some builders doing some building work upstairs at the moment, and they're making a lot of noise all morning. So here's the new one. You can kind of see a comparison of what it's like. And I've only used this. I've used this kind of on and off since March, but I've been using it constantly since about June or July. So you can see I've only really used it about half the year, and you can see the difference already. So it's really just very cool. I love it. And actually you can see the colours here. I coloured these in myself, but then I sort of gave up doing it because I wasn't really using it. Right, so there we go. That's the outside. And then I've just slipped a notebook on the inside here, just so I can take some extra notes and collections and things. So let's just have a open up. I haven't really used these pages. I was thinking about using them perhaps for very important things that I know I'm just not going to change. So for example, birthdays. I will circle maybe some important dates. I didn't start off using this monthly index page. Originally when I started using it, I used it to just write down kind of important things that happened that were significant for me. And these were some places and things that I was performing at. Then I started to do it more consistently, writing down kind of a little snippet of each day just to keep as an index. So in July, for example, I could turn to page 17, so day 17th of July, and know, okay, this is when I started doing this. And then I started to use it as kind of a mix of both, and also a mix of both a habit tracker and a kind of a log of any special events. And I started to use it to log follow accounts and things on Instagram. So yeah, this is August, and so the things that I've tracked as habits have kind of changed over the days. So in August I wrote down over here kind of the different things I wanted to track, and then I kind of copied them over into September, and then I started kind of adding some apps in that I was using to help me log certain things. I was doing it more consistently towards the end there. And then in October, I still need to fill out the last couple of days. I've been super ill this last week, so I'm only just starting to feel better. But yeah, I'm kind of using apps to track these extra things. So I have something for kind of logging my exercise, my calorie intake, some habits and things I want to do, everything like that. So I just log it in the app, and then I just colour this box to show that I've done that in the app, so I can remember what I've done and what I haven't. And I've divided the colours up into like the evening, so I've got the yellow for the morning, orange for afternoon, red for the evening. So that's kind of been working well, so I'll probably continue with that. The monthly pages, I didn't really use them until I got to April, and here's just a super major experimentation of how I've used these. So I started just like circling, squaring the days that I get paid on, and then red ones are for bills, and then just some and then I started crossing out the days that have already happened, just as a way to keep track. I don't like the scribbliness of it. Very nice. And then for my next month, I decided to go ahead and kind of complete. I didn't like these extra days that you get where they're kind of like faint. So they're not actually the days of the month, they're the days of the previous month, but they put them there so you can know when the next week is kind of starting. And so I just completed those with some, this was my very first attempt at some doodling or like Zen art, so it was kind of nice, it's kind of pretty, but I didn't carry it on. It was just quite time consuming and I wasn't really enjoying drawing them. So, and then this time I kind of reduced the paydays and bills to like a coloured in square. I didn't use it at all in June. That was when I had all my major assignments for uni due. So, and then in July, I kind of experimented this time with doing some brush lettering, and then I listed out all of my students that I teach and put them in kind of, each student has a box, and then I kind of like coloured in a square. So I'm a music teacher. I have lots of private students. So yeah, this was a nice way to just kind of see when they were, but you know, again, it's kind of a bit, I don't know, it was just too much, too confusing. And then in August, I thought I'd do little doodles here to show when I do certain tasks. So okay, I'm going to do cleaning on Tuesday, so I tried to draw a mop, and again, it just took too long to do these doodles and I didn't really use it. And then this was the first time I started to write the to-dos down the side as well. So I'm kind of using a very a form of bullet journaling in my Hobonichi, though it's not really, it's very, very modified. I wouldn't say it's bullet journaling, it's a very modified version. This is the first month that I was kind of very happy with. I really loved the colours that I used for September. I kept everything plain and simple. No colours in the calendar itself. I wrote down kind of all my work appointments and any extra things I wanted to remember. And again, I've got my to-dos down here. And then this is October. And I started doing some meal planning this week, but I'm not really one for meal planning. I haven't really used it, so I won't do it again next week. That's the thing with planning, it's kind of, it changes week to week, month to month sometimes. And I know next month it's going to be different for me than it is now, and that's nice. You kind of just adapt it to what's suitable for you at the time, and you know, you're never going to be the same all the time and need the same thing. So I haven't really written as many to-dos down here, and I'm kind of experimenting with using Evernote a bit more now for my to-dos and kind of next action tasks. And then, yeah, I just put in a schedule. This is great for future planning if you do bullet journaling. So I just take my next month and I can directly put it into the calendar when these things are going to happen. And then I haven't done any more there. I did a little bit, I divided this page up for some more kind of like future planning, things I need to worry about when I get in. Experimented with doing a weekly here. I haven't used it. And then you can kind of see, now this is kind of, when I got this in March, I had a lot of spare page at the front, so I really used it to experiment with brush lettering, different coloured pens. You can see the Hobonichi is great. It doesn't really, you can see it, but it doesn't bleed. It's just ghosting, but that's normal. Yeah, so I did some Rock Your Hands Writing prompts, Plan With Me challenges. I'm quite happy with some of these pages. They look really nice. Right, let's just see if I can turn to some daily pages. I'll see if I can turn to the very first time I really used a daily page in this book. And you can see the evolution of my planning as we go. So, you know, if you're just starting out, your pages are going to look the same as this. That's fine. It's just kind of, you know, it's what you're starting as, you know, it takes time. So, yeah, I just kind of did my to-dos, and then I did like a weekly review, not weekly, daily review at the end of the day, but I don't know, maybe I'm not reviewing properly, but I didn't find it useful. And then I experimented with just adding a little doodling here on each page. And I was using ballpoint pen to write in these to-dos, and also to create these doodles, and that works okay. And I actually love the texture of this as well. The texture is just really, let's see if I can get some light to shine on it. Not very well, but you get the idea. This paper, you can see it more on this side. The paper is just very thin. It always reminds me of the paper that you get in Bibles. Very thin, very nice. And yeah, just the colours are really nice on this paper as well. Very white. So there you go, did some more of that. And I started to get into Boho Berry, if you know her, and I printed off a tracker where I never used it. And then I started doing some more bullet journaling as such in here. I was using like the whole square to write my words as well, and experimenting with the time tracker on the side, doing some weather icons and things. It's kind of cool to see the evolution of time. There we go. I went on holidays. So this was in April. I was kind of finishing up uni, lots and lots of uni tasks that I just sort of really needs to get cracking on. And I don't know, bullet journaling works okay in this. I suppose with bullet journaling, you want each page that you can, so that you can change it as you need. So for example, if you're doing some, you're listing your to-dos for the day, and then you need to think, oh crikey, I've got some kind of trip coming up soon I need to plan for. You can turn to the next page and just write, you know, trip to plan for, whatever, and write out your to-dos for that or whatever. Or a book collection or whatever, you can just turn the page and do it. Whereas in this, you've got your daily page and that's it. You've got a few pages at the back. Did some journaling. And I'm okay, I don't mind journaling in this book. I quite like that it's kind of one book and it's got, you know, it's just got a year of you in it. Okay, so yeah, and then I sort of decided to, I remember I started to use it as a journal rather than as a bullet journal. And then, next page, started to do some more bullet journaling in here again. Like you can see everything's sort of tidied up a little bit. I'm starting to do some prompts in these pages. Continuing on, let's just have a look here. Started to highlight my important tasks. And I'm using colours a bit more. Just seeing anything else. Nope. Then there was a big space here. This was right at the end of the year. I was doing all my exams, so it didn't happen. Started to do Pomodoros, kind of experimenting with that. Got a performing gig. Some lyrics that I wrote. Yep. So really just using it as a notebook now, rather than as a journal, as a bullet journal, or to-do list tracker, just a notebook. Keeping on going. We'll get there soon. Then I started experimenting with some time trackers that I saw on Instagram. Yep. It's kind of cool to have a visualization of how you're spending your time. But didn't really stick. Again, back to bullet journaling. And then this is the first time I really started to feel happy with my journal. I was like, hang on a second, I really like this. So I started to doodle a little more. Well, seriously, I took up a doodling challenge and then did some more kind of handwriting, journaling, things like that. Yep, more doodling. This one was a bit of a fail, but never mind. Happens. Yeah, and then it started to really take shape from here when I started to really be happy with the format and like what I was doing in my bullet journal. So when did I start? In March. And it wasn't until July that I started really doing it consistently and being happy with the results. And here I was really bullet journaling, as I like to think, by rapid logging everything that just came up during the day, migrating things that I didn't do, crossing off things that I did. Again, these pages I'm super happy with. I just love the way, the composition, like the way they've come out, and so on. Yeah, these are really good. Really happy with these. Yeah, again, like this is one of the prompts that I wrote on a post-it. So rather than putting it in the calendar, I just put it on my coming up. And then over here I have some projects that I was working on that I wanted to do, some challenges, some tasks. Here's my magnet that I put there from the other day when I did the video. Yeah, all good. I love these doodles. And this is when I really started doing the Zen Arts Challenge over on Mindful Creativity with Tangles, which is on the Facebook. You can check it out. The Facebook group there is really good. I also started experimenting with doing different things with time tracking. So I have my time tracker here of when I track the hours of the day with certain tasks and things that I'm doing. And also here I started to list out the Pomodoros for certain things, as well as my water intake. Yep, all good. This is cool. Some handwriting tips. Yeah, I started experimenting with colours as well. Quite happy with this page too. It's really lovely. Yeah, so when I started getting artistic with this. Here I made a mistake and I really wasn't happy with it. So this was probably the first time I wasn't happy. So I cut out some notebook paper and stuck it on. And you could tell the difference of the paper. Like you can already see like the colour. This is just a little purple. And it's super, this is just one piece of paper on there and it's made it like cardboard almost. So you could really see the difference between the papers. Yep, more tasks and things. I started to write in gratitude here. I don't think I did it on the other pages. I wrote in gratitude but coloured it differently so that it stood out. And then I started listing my meals as a way to be kind of responsible for or thoughtful about what I was eating during the day. Again, experimenting with tangles and stuff. Going through. I really love this as well. This was lovely. It just sort of hit all at once, you know. Keep going. That was a carnival. Experimenting a little bit with pencil designs and things. And then here I kind of decided to not list any projects or any kind of things that I wanted to work on through the month. I just decided to list my challenges that I wanted to do and social media trackers and things that I'm starting to track a bit more. And I found a quote that I really loved and wrote it in at the start as well. Continuing on, using more colours, experimenting with the prompts again, experimenting with the different, just different ways of adding background colour and stuff in here. Doing it some more, my weather symbols have changed as well. And yeah, and you can see my time trackers have started to change, they've become more minimal. So I'm just putting in the information that I need. It just helps me see my day when I'm planning. Again, my handwriting is improving. Some days I just don't have time for doodles. And then sometimes all I have time for is doodles. I stopped logging my meals because I'm tracking them in an app now. So that leaves me more space here to write. I watched a great movie and I wanted to write a little review about that in my book. Yeah, you can see most of my space and time off needs to be at the weekend. Yeah, and there we go. We're up to date with our month of October. I decided to write a calendar wheel in, which works quite nicely. But again, like, it helps at the start to really go over everything that's going on in the month and to help you visualize like holidays was really useful. But again, I'm not really using it. I'm not coming back to be like, oh, let's check my calendar wheel out, see what's coming up. So I just wrote down my Instagram, my social media trackers. This is what I might be doing now. I think for November I'm going to write my social media here and just like keep a track, just for, it's kind of a fun hobby. I don't think I'll do the calendar wheel again. And then here I went back to really trying to use all the space that I could in my journal. So you can see here, this was like a full day. I kept this journal with me during the day and I just wrote out things that came up during the day. It's just easier to get your book out and just write it. And gave myself more space for the gratitude. A few tasks of hard things that I wanted to get done during the day. I wrote down a recipe that I really, really loved. Some more prompts here, did my doodle. I wrote down some shopping things. So, you know, at the end of the month, like with bullet journaling, I intend to go back over the whole month just to have a review of everything that's going on or gone on, and then be able to see what things need to be completed, what things I didn't do, what's relevant still, what's irrelevant. So here we go. Yeah, these are some cool pages, and I really love how I'm really using the space now. That's one thing that I love about this, and also one thing I'm really interested in doing is really utilising. It's such a beautiful tiny little book. It's so handy. I just take it in my bag. It's not heavy, not like the A5. The A5 is quite heavy. The A6 is just right, and it really makes you think about what you're adding in. Is it important? Am I just fluffing sentences? So I'm writing on appointments, hard tasks that need to be done. Reviewing kind of any prompts that I want to complete. So for example, at the moment I'm doing Plan With Me Challenge and Rock Your Handwriting, and I'm also doing Zen Art Challenge just because I love adding a bit of shape and drawing into my books. And I'm writing in gratitude. I find that helps me so much. And I'm used to use extra space just for a little bit of journaling if I need to write a few sentences about what's going on. And sometimes if something's really bothering me or it's really on my mind, I will write about it in my Hobonichi, and I won't write down tasks. Tasks are secondary to anything that I feel is important that I need to think through and write through in my book. And so, you know, this will be a nice, I'm hoping at the end of the year it will be a nice little reminder. There's one book, I can go through the whole year in a book and see, you know, how it's been going. Yeah, so, yeah, I had some ideas, so I wrote that down. Again, I did some journaling on these pages. This is when I was starting to feel really ill, so took some time off work. I'm really happy with how this came out. Again, some more doodles. And this is the last thing that I did. This was yesterday. So, yeah, I'm happy with my drawings and things. I don't really sit down and plan out how I'm going to do things. I just take my pen, I write my tasks in, and then I think, okay, I love doodles, so I always do that first, and I just think, okay, well, how can I fit it in? And I just take my pen and I do it straight away. And you can see there are mistakes and it's not perfect. And I don't take long to do these. It takes me maybe half an hour if I really sit down and try my hardest at it. It doesn't take me long. And it's really relaxing. And I'm always amazed that when I draw, it's beautiful. Even if it's not perfect, it just comes out lovely. So it's great. I'm happy. And then this is it. So this is, yeah, that's it. I just have some notes for work and stuff that I need to remember today. And that's it, really. It takes me not long to go through that. It's just a few months, I guess. And then at the back, for my collection pages, I just have a bunch of books and movies. And you can see this is when I first got my journal, so I was just writing in very quick lists. I wasn't trying to make it beautiful. Then I kind of got inspired a little bit and so on. Wrote some Whole30 stuff, KonMari, testing out my pen, and that's it, really, for my journal. So in the back I have some collections, there's some I'm going to continue on in my new Hobonichi when I set it up for January. So for example, books, movies, TV shows are things that will definitely go in here. So like long-term collections that I know that I'm going to use and be looking at when I want to review my journals in the future. Short-term things like projects will probably go in my computer. I keep everything on Evernote, so it will be on there. So I like the idea of having a digital and a paper planner. So I have things like long-term collections and things. So for example, sleep or data to do with sleep, or data to do with what I'm eating, or calorie intake, whatever, will go on my computer. I can then have a long-term grasp of kind of everything sort of like that's been going on with me. And then other things that are a bit more abstract or not easily kind of scalable into data. Does that make sense? I'll just keep it in here as a paper planner. So yeah, some extra things. Yeah, I use this I got this necklace from a student, that I was teaching, and she gave me this as a gift. So I just put it in here as an extra bookmark. Of course, in the future, I'll probably be using the page marker a bit more to keep my page. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the page marker. I quite like it. It fits so snugly in the case. Lovely. And there we go. So that's that. So for the new year, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think I will probably stick with the A6 for day-to-day kind of stuff. The A5 will probably be more for planning, project planning. I'm really not sure. Kind of excited to figure out how I'm going to use these two books, but I really want to use them both. So yeah. So that's it. Well, thank you so much for watching again. I hope you got some nice ideas from my journal. I'll probably do a setup of a daily so that you can see how I go through creating a daily, and hopefully that will give you some ideas of what you can do for yours as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. If there's anything else you want to see, if you have any questions for me, I'm always happy to answer them. I'm so grateful even that people are watching this, so that's fantastic. Yeah, so don't forget, please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. There'll be more. I'm planning to post twice a week at the moment, so there should be one more video by the end of this week. And yeah, let me know what you want to see next. I'll probably do a setup video next, a setup of a daily, and I'm planning for there to be a blog post accompanying this as well, where you can kind of see some pictures and more in-depth kind of explanation of what's going on. So yeah, look out for that. Once the post is ready, I'll link it in the description below. Yeah, so thanks again for watching, and have a good rest of day, good rest of week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.